is no longer the most valuable company, crashed by 17% yesterday and lost $600 billion in market capitalization. So everything that was, so to speak, based on the fact that we would have a gigantic investment program, with gigantic data and then gigantic chips. This whole story could only have been handled by the big tech companies, by Microsoft and whatever they are called. Everyone needed these high-performance chips from Nvidia. Now you realize, no, you might not need it at all, because you can achieve practically at least equivalent results with a fraction of the effort. And that actually means that we are dealing with democratization here. It is no longer the trillion-dollar US tech companies that are the only ones who can afford to train AI, because it is incredibly expensive to invest so much capital. Now basically any garage company can do this, and this brings a new dimension and a new dynamic into play that is a real game changer. It also made the biggest profits, of course 36 billion, but you can see here how dominant Nvidia is in this movement. And then there are those who previously sang the Nvidia song, such as Bernstein, this analysis house, which now has a short position on Nvidia. So first of all, it's not that the Chinese had to do very little to develop this. Well, it may be, it was probably a little more, but it wasn't these gigantic sums that the Americans needed. That's all this sell-side source that Wall Street is telling us, of course. Also, okay, I'm into Nvidia stock, it's down, but I think that's an exaggeration. This is of course this classic pattern. We can quickly see that Nvidia has slipped to 4th place among stocks, to 3rd place because gold is still there, of the most valuable ETFs in the world. This went relatively quickly, and we can see that Apple was able to lean into this as a company that is already overvalued, but may now benefit from it. But there was no one here who bought it. We can see at the bottom of this chart that there was little protection for the downside among the big players on Wall Street. There was little hedge, so that's the case, and that can lead to things getting unpleasant. Then the appearance of S, who said, "Watch out, we want to impose tariffs on imports of semiconductors, i.e. chips, and pharmaceuticals. I want them to be made here in the USA." So he specifically announced that he would practically tax these chips, here from Nvidia, which, as we know, have them manufactured in Taiwan. Now he said, "Well, I generally think tariffs are good." That was already a report that caused euphoria when it was, who was it? I don't remember who it was exactly, but I reported that there were 2.5% tariffs and then a gradual increase. By the way, Trump also said again in this speech, "Well, we were doing so great back then when we only had tariffs and no income tax." And now he said, "Well, I'm for general tariffs, but well above 2.5%. I have the number in mind, but I'm not going to commit to it yet," that's what he said. And then yesterday we saw this picture. Of course, first of all on Wall Street, without these statements from Trump, 3% minus in the Russell, 1% minus in the Dow Jones, even positive.